Mirrors encircle Henry, each surface a shimmering portal into a different spiritual identity. Fractured saints and luminous unknowns staring back, their whispers weaving a chorus of fractured divinity. The multiplicity of reflections shows the various spiritual roles individuals adopt. The scrolls burn, edges curling like dying petals, ink dissolving into smoke. A fragile testament to how even the holiest words turn to ephemera in the fire of time. The limitations of spiritual phrases like "find your tribe" are represented through their destruction by fire. The act of burning is the transient nature and potential inadequacy of relying solely on spiritual dogma. The spiritual ego arises when an individual's sense of self becomes intertwined with spiritual beliefs and experiences. This inflated self-perception can lead to feelings of superiority and detachment from others. Whispered phrases reinforce the ego's inflated sense of self, promoting exclusivity and self-importance. A scale initially holds a golden apple, symbolizing sin, on one side, and a crystal, representing purity, on the other. The scale fractures is the collapse of the perceived duality between these opposing concepts. Balance is an illusion. Both the sin and purity objects fall into an infinite void, illustrating their ultimate equivalence. The absence of mirrors shows the removal of external reflection and self-image. The discarding of robes represents the stripping away of external identities and roles. Darkness pools thick as oil, swallowing every shadow until even the air forgets to stir. Here, in this absence of light, this merciful annihilation of the visible world, the mind turns inward. The extinguished candle symbolizes the cessation of active searching. The sound of wind underscores the solitude and finality of the moment. The mirrors don't reflect. They remember. Every incarnation you've ever prayed as stares back, waiting for you to recognize yourself in their eyes. Reflections arguing tension between adopted paths. These spiritual masks highlight the performative aspect inherent in expressing spiritual identities. The seeker's reflections represent the constructed nature of spiritual roles and self-presentation. Ancient scrolls and scriptures serve as tools for understanding, not as ultimate goals. The knowledge gained from these texts is the true objective, rendering the physical forms disposable. Words like rafts are means to cross a river of ignorance, to be abandoned upon reaching the other shore. The silhouette represents the ego's subtle return. Mala beads symbolize a spiritual guise, masking the ego's true nature. A subtly menacing smile suggests the deceptive nature of the ego's return. The self is a blown glass sculpture. The concept of self is easily shattered, emphasizing its illusory nature. The eye is morning mist over a mirror. Leaning close, you see your features smearing into the damp void. Wipe it away. Fingerprints remain for a heartbeat before evaporating. The canvas holds only what has been subtracted, an expanse of raw linen where pigment once bled, now stretched taut between four corners of silence. In this cultivated void, the eye learns to see its own seeing. These aren't images to comprehend, but thresholds to step through, where perception stumbles and understanding drops its maps. The composition breathes in negative space, a vast porcelain expanse where shadows refuse to cohere into shapes. The horizon line trembles like a thought about to form, then dissolves. This is not emptiness as void, but as a charged field. The luminous silence between neurons firing, the world before language pins it down. Releasing the pursuit of enlightenment. The act of detachment also extends to mental constructs and preconceived notions. The seeker's outstretched hand unclenches, the sacred texts falls. The weight that once bent the spine now feeds wild orchids. This is how illumination begins, not with grasping, but with the ground's cool kiss against empty palms. A mask symbolizes the concept of spiritual ego. The mask fits perfectly, representing how easily spiritual ego can be adopted. The seeker polishes their enlightenment like a trophy, each recited sutra buffing the brass, each hour of meditation deepening the engraving. Unaware, they build a reliquary for their disguise, an altar where the eye kneels before, an eye draped in saffron robes, whispering prayers to its own reflection in the glass. Truth is defined as the state that remains after the removal of all illusions. The removal of illusions reveals an unadorned and clear reality. The truth is an empty white room, no angles to bend perception, no echoes to multiply meaning. A single window, unadorned and clean, allows the light to enter exactly as it is, unfiltered and uninterpreted. The path forks endlessly, yet every route circles back to the same carved inscription at the center: "You were never lost." The exit appears only when footsteps cease and all reflected selves dissolve. The Andy of dissolve into the granite floor. In this cycle, the seeker is perpetually in motion, but never truly arrives at a destination. The trap lies in the illusion of progress within the confines of the seeking cycle. High and low vibrations represent opposite ends of a spectrum, not side to pick. These seemingly opposing vibrations are interdependent and interconnected. What we call high is the filament's taut singing. What we name low, its shadow, vibrating in sympathy. To the metal, both are equally necessary tensions, the same note heard through opposite ears. Spiritual concepts are increasingly presented and consumed as commodities. This commercialization can lead to superficial engagement with profound spiritual ideas. The spiritual marketplace risks reducing complex philosophies to easily digestible, marketable trends. Spiritual jargon and dogma can be represented as heavy, oppressive objects. The weight of these words symbolizes the burden they place on individuals. This burden can hinder spiritual growth and understanding. Silence is not simply the absence of sound, but a state with its own distinct qualities. Silence can be depicted through visual metaphors, representing its profound and resonant presence. This is silence made visible. The way shadows pool deeper in snow than in darkness. How the pause between heartbeats contains whole universes. The process of removing masks is presented as a gradual revelation. Each layer removed signifies a step towards unadorned simplicity. The final state is one of pure, unadorned simplicity. Spiritual labels are empty containers. These labels lack inherent meaning. The value is not in the label, but in the content. The interplay of opposing forces is not a battle, it's a dance. Fluid, shifting, alive. Each one shaping the other in motion, not to destroy, but to reveal balance through movement. This interaction isn't a war, it's a rhythm. A dynamic balance, not a rigid conflict. Opposites don't cancel each other. They complete the current. Like inhale and exhale, day and night. They move, not to dominate, but to keep the dance alive. The forces' continuous movement and interaction create a harmonious equilibrium.
The mind functions as a mirror, reflecting both accurate perceptions and deceptive illusions. The clarity of the mind determines the accuracy of its reflections. Truth and illusion are differentiated by the mind's ability to process and interpret sensory input. The spiritual journey is a path without a predetermined destination. Emphasis is placed on the significance and richness of the present moment. The journey itself rather than the end goal, holds the greatest value. The realization that there is nothing left to become represents a state of absolute stillness. This stillness signifies the cessation of striving, ambition, and the pursuit of future states. Complete stillness is the ultimate state where all potential for change or movement has been exhausted.